Alright guys, so I wanted to do a short before and after on this truck. May have jumped the gun just a little bit and went ahead and started taking some of this stuff to get color matched. But nonetheless, it's pretty much stock, just minus a couple components. But through the magic of movie editing, we'll make this real quick for you. And it's done. Alright guys, got an insane dually build for you. 2025 Denali HD Ultimate. I may sound a little bit out of breath. We have been humping it today to get this one finished up for the customer. It is 7:30 p.m. Friday night, and he is here to pick it up. He's extremely stoked about it, but he wanted to allow us enough time to do a quick video on it, show off the build. He picked this one up straight from Texas and brought it straight to us from Texas. So we did the 7 to 9 inch McGaughys. It's sitting at about 8 inches of lift. It's got the 28-inch GTX Pinnacles. Everything has been color matched, both on the body and on the suspension. It's got the 38-1350 Fury MTs. It's also got these custom floaters. You see matching on the rear. Now with the McGaughys kit, we did do the upper control arms. And again, they are color matched. You'll notice the new McGaughys arms are actually coming with stainless accents to match the stainless accents that are on the cross member and the rest of the kit, instead of just painted silver, which looks really nice. I'm glad they made that change. We also opted for the stainless cap. Just kind of goes much better with it, especially with the custom powder and all the stainless accents. It just really, the extra billet pops that much more. We've also got the Fox 2.0 shocks. These are the Resis, of course. Just kind of back up and give you a full look at the truck. I'm sure that's what you're wanting to see. Now again, the moldings on the front bumper, rear bumper, side step, mirrors, and the fender flares were all smoothed and painted to match the truck. Really couldn't be happy with how this thing turned out. I don't know if it comes through on camera correct or not, but the level of perfect color paint match on these painted plastic pieces is perfect. I mean, it looks like it came factory this way. And it is, if you've ever seen these in person that have been done, sometimes they look good, sometimes they don't. It depends on how smooth they are and how much time the painter put into them. We do not do this part in-house. We have another shop that does that for us. But the level of detail they put into that, it looks like it came factory. And it's just as slick as the factory paint, if not slicker. Then same thing for the powder coat. Now these traction bars, if you're not familiar with the McGaughys bars, they are on a shackle, and that's because your release springs are on a shackle. They don't move just straight up and down, and they move back, forward and back as well. And this allows them to travel, the traction bars to travel forward and back with the leaf spring, so that you don't get any suspension binding. There's a couple companies that do them that way. It's a lot better than just a straight bolted to your frame, bolted to your axle setup. We've got the Recon frosted clear lights and the fender flares, and then the dually bedside. Now these are all LED, but they do light up the factory colors, so they match the cab lights and the mirror lights. Of course, the rear bumper was done as well. We left the pads black to keep some functionality there. That way you can still step into the bed. Same thing on the side step. Plus it adds a little bit of accent, looks really nice. Got the Fox 2.0 Resi shocks in the rear as well. Let me see if I can get it in here a little bit better for you. Well, the McGaughys kit does come with these shims that go within the leaf spring pack, and you can kind of fine tune the ride height doing it that way. Now we're kind of maxed out on with these U-bolts what they come with. If we wanted to add any more, we would have to go to a longer U-bolt. So we're just about out of thread there. Something I like to point out on these dualies, get over here and get you a side view. So this dually appears to be perfectly level. Now, I always get people that say it looks like it leans one way or leans the other. But with dualies, it's a little tricky. The rear fender line is lower than the front fender line by quite a bit. So if you set it by the gap between the tire and the fender flare, you're going to end up really high in the rear. But if you end up just going off the, say you put a level on the bed rail, or you put a level on the frame and you go off of that, well, then you're going to end up really low in the rear. So we kind of split the difference there and do a kind of a happy medium so that it looks level to the eye. And that's where we're at right now. There's about an 1.5 inch difference between the front fender and the back. But if you put a level on the frame or the bed rail, it shows to be rear high. So, but visually, it looks level from most angles. Now, of course, that's very subjective to the individual, but that's how I personally like to set them up. And these wheels, you got to shout out JTX for these. They are insane looking. And just look at that. And if you haven't got the opportunity to mount a set of 28s on 38s yet, they are a lot of fun, just to let you know. So sitting at 8 inches, we got really good axle angles. Of course, we can go up higher, but we've got plenty of clearance as we are. So if we go up any higher, we're going to start making the tires look too small. So this really is a perfect setup. We've got good angles, everything aligned great, drives great, rides well. We've also got a steering stabilizer added to it. As you see from most of our builds, we like to put the steering stabilizers on most of the 25 and 3500 trucks. You can see you've got the stainless accents on the front cross member as well. Of course, the mirrors are color matched as well. And this is just one of those trucks that you just can't take your eyes off of. Like, it just looks insane. Every detail on it is perfect. Let's talk about our tire clearance a little bit. So Now we did have to cut the bumper and the inner liner through here. We did cut the bumper before we had any of the paint work done so that the paint would cover up any cuts. Luckily we've done enough of these so we can kind of know what we need to cut and how much. On the rear we did the Kelderman cap. We could have kept the factory cap and that would have worked. We probably would have had to trim it some. But doing the Kelderman cap and just painting it to match as well, it just gives it a cleaner look, gives it more tire clearance. If you ever wanted to go bigger, he has that opportunity now. Okay, now this system is a torsion drop kit, meaning it does drop your torsion bars, as you can see. They are below the frame rail. A lot of the bigger kits do it this way. Typically the smaller kits are going to keep it up within the frame rail. And when I say keep it up within the frame rail, I mean stay within that hole there. This does let it hang down a little bit better or a little bit more. So if you're looking for ground clearance, this is not ideal, but it is a very nice aesthetic piece as well, especially if you're doing custom color matching. That silver and the stainless look really nice together. Now, as mentioned before, the lift is all powder coated, so that's not painted. This kit does come black, and all the black was removed and then re-powder coated to match the truck. And I feel like I'm leaving off a ton of details here, because there's just been so much small levels of detail put into this truck that I'm sure I'm forgetting to mention. And you see, so all of this through here has been painted. Now this piece does wrap all the way through here and is then painted. We left the valence off. I'm not a fan of painted valences. They flex too much and they can chip. It just looks better without it. Also, with it gone, you can now see your cross member and your lift so much better. That does leave some holes from where your valence was, so we do plug those off for a cleaner look. But as you can see, that piece continues. It's actually all one piece. It consists of the inner grill here on the inside of your bumper as well. So that whole inside section of the bumper has to come apart. So there's a lot of disassemble for all this color match. So to do it right, it's not a cheap job, but it does make a world of difference in how your truck looks. Now on the flares on these, you can't just call GM and order color matched 3500 dually fender flares, or even paintable. They only come in the black texture because the rear flare is different. Now the 2500s, you can get them from GM either paintable and a lot of times already painted to match your truck. But because of the way the bed is made, the rear flare is just slightly different. So that's why we opted to go ahead and smooth the factory flares and paint those, because really that's the only choice you got, that or black, if you got a dually. And of course we did the mud flaps as well, just to keep the thing going so that it all looks nice and clean. Someone had on this truck, it had the big mud flaps that hang down like 15 inches. Obviously we didn't use those, but we did have a couple holes that we wanted to plug and try to keep the factory look along the way without using those. And again, those are the Recon lights. Alright guys, so I think that's going to be it on this one. If give you one more short walk around just to savor this one. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. Keep in mind, we ship all these parts nationwide as we do installs as well. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.